now. So, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Nashtuki. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so Hare Krishna, everyone. Today we will be discussing chapter 23 of Canto 3. Let's begin the session without any further ado. Okay, so Meenakshi Madhavi Mataji, would you like to read the first 12 verses?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would love to, yeah. And text 1, Maitreya continued. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman, Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. Text 2, O Vidura, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of the senses, with love and with sweet words. Text 3, working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Text 4 to 5. The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as greater even than Providence. Thus, she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. Seeing her condition, Kardama, the foremost of celestial sages, was overcome with compassion and spoke to her in a voice choked up with great love. Text 6. Kardama Muni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf. Text 7. Kardama Muni continued, I have achieved the blessings of the Lord in discharging my own religious life of austerity, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. Although you have not yet experienced these achievements, which are free from fear and lamentation, I shall offer them all to you because you are engaged in my service. Now, just look at them. I'm giving you the transcendental vision to see how nice they are. Text 8. Kardama Muni continued, What is the use of enjoyments other than the Lord's grace? All material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of the eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By your principles of devotion to your husband, you have achieved and can enjoy transcendental gifts, very rarely obtained by persons proud of aristocracy and material possessions. Text 9. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice because of great humility and love. Text 10.
No, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So this chapter is entitled Devothi's Lamentation. Hare Krishna. So Devothi's Lamentation. In the previous chapter, we had seen how Manu, Swayambhu Manu or Emperor Manu, along with his wife Shatarupa and with daughter Devahuti and his entourage, went to the place where Kardamuni was practicing, undergoing austerities and practicing meditation at Bindu Sarovara. And then handed over his dear daughter Devahuti to Kardamuni in marriage. And after that, Emperor Manu came back to his kingdom and ruled the subjects very nicely. At the same time, he practiced his devotion. He did his duty as a king, and at the same time, he was doing his spirituality. So that's why he's one of the Mahajans. Mahajan is a person who is a great devotee of the Lord. Emperor Manu, so he was a very great devotee of the Lord. It was a very good example for a householder, how one can simultaneously do one's duty and at the same time practice devotion. So I can see there is one new devotee here. Can you kindly introduce yourself?
Hello, it's Paul Walsh.
Oh, Paul Welsh.
How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Good. Yes, we heard your name, but we have never seen you before.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's work is a little bit quiet now, so I'm here, and I apologize for my absences.
No, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry at all. But good to have you back. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhu.
So that last chapter was really wonderful, and we have learned so many lessons from that chapter. How Emperor Manu mainly looked the qualities, good characteristics of a person to find a suitable bridegroom for our daughter rather than just a material external quality. And that was the main thing. And then the practicing of devotion by Manu as an emperor, that is very important for all of us. So in this chapter, it is a continuation from the previous chapter. Then what happened after they got married had been described here. So this is a still conversation between two great souls, Mahatma Vidura, great personality Vidura, and as well as Maitreya. So we know that Vidura approached Maitreya at Hardwar, near on the bank of Ganges, and he was inquiring several spiritual topics. And so this discussion is going on. Materialistic people, they may gossip for some time, but they get exhausted. After some time, they get bored. But here, these two great personalities, they started discussing. Beginning of third chapter, and in third chapter, beginning of third canto, and the entire third canto, and also fourth canto. So they discussed a lot. So in this chapter, we can see that Maitreya continued. Maitreya narrating the entire pastime to Vidura. So he was telling after the departure of our parents, so the chaste devotee, and understanding the desires of her husband, Kardama, served him constantly with great love, just as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. So, yes, here the point was that although she came from very aristocratic background, she gave up that high life, yes, very opulent life, and she became she desired to serve her husband, understanding his desires, very important. And the example gave here was comparison was Bhavani, Lord Shiva's wife, Mother Parvati, also served like that. So Lord Shiva, he just simply sits under a banyan tree and meditates on Lord Vishnu. So he is not very opulent, although he bestows so many opulences to the people in general. Whereas Mother Parvati, Bhavani, was the daughter of Himavan, Himalayas, yes? And she was very opulent. She grew up in a very opulent situation. She gave that up. She became simply good wife, chaste wife of Lord Shiva. But in both cases here, you can see the important point here. Lord Shiva and as well as Kardama, they were great servants of the Lord. So this is very important that taking these verses, one should not think that one's wife must serve in the way he desires. But actually, these people, these two personalities, Lord Shiva and Kardama, are great devotees of the Lord. By serving a great devotee, automatically you will get a great benefit. So devotees served very nicely with intimacy and respect, controlling her senses, and she used very nice, sweet words. And yes, she was free from lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities and vanity, like that. So she possessed a great qualities. Prabhupada gives one example that when okay, just 1 second. Okay. Right. my YouTube was coming on. Yeah. So Prabhupada gives one beautiful example. Gandhari, after she got married to Dhritarashtra, knowing her husband is blind, she voluntarily just covers her her eyes with a cloth. She voluntarily becomes blind. That is the nature, and by serving her husband very nicely, she acquired so much power. We know that Gandhari acquired so much power. So, however, if wife is a strong devotee, then why not? The husband can also serve. Prabhupada said this. That is also possible. If your wife is a very strong devotee, more spiritually advanced, then of course husband can assist. So she was very devoted, so after serving so long, she became very weak and emaciated, basically underweight. She was not in a good shape at all, although she was the daughter of Emperor Manu. But she had rendered menial servant for a long time. She became weak and emaciated. And seeing her Kardama husband, he spoke. I'm very happy with you. And with your service, with your great devotion. And so for everybody, their body is so dear, but neglecting your own body, you rendered so much service to me. And Kardama immediately said, I achieved the blessings of the Lord by practicing meditation and devotion for a long time. I can simply pass these blessings of the Lord that I had received to you. This is a very important point here, that by serving a spiritually advanced person, we can get the merits that they obtained through the devotional process. If we serve Guru, spiritual master, who is advanced in spirituality and devotion, just by serving that person, what happens is they get pleased, and whatever the benedictions they had received from the Lord, they would be able to pass on to us. Another important point from devotee's sincere service to her husband is that a disciple also should give up the position where he came from, whether he is coming from rich background or poor background or whatever kind of background one may come from. One should give up all that and simply serve the spiritual master. Just like Devavati had served her husband, a disciple should also serve the spiritual master. By serving spiritual master, we will receive benedictions. So here Kardamuni mentioned that I had received the blessings of the Lord, and by which I became free from fear and lamentation. I shall simply offer this to you. Now just look at them. I am giving you the transcendental vision to see how nice they are. And then he says, what is the use of enjoyment other than the Lord's grace? All these material achievements, they can be taken away by a movement of the eyebrow of Lord Vishnu. Now, these material achievements, what is the use? But by your service to me, you have achieved a great transcendental gift, which can rarely obtained by the persons proud of aristocracy and material possessions. So let's read a little bit from the 7th as well. Let's see. So I'll read little something from the purport, couple of things. Okay. Okay, Paul Prabhu, can you read from here for the spiritual achievement?
Unfortunately, I'm on my iPhone and it's very small.
We will ask someone else.
Would you, I'm very sorry. It's very tiny.
Yeah, don't worry.
Thank you.
Ambada, Prabhu? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Yeah, you want me to read what is on the screen? I can do that.
Yeah, highlighted. Yeah.
Yeah. For spiritual achievement, the easiest path is to take the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and to serve him with heart and soul. That is the secret of success, as stated by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur in his 8 stanzas of prayer to the spiritual master. Yashya prasadad bhagavat prasada. By serving or receiving the grace of the spiritual master, one receives the grace of the Supreme Lord. By serving her devotee husband, Kadama Muni, Devahuti shared in his achievements. Similar, a sincere disciple, simply by serving a bona fide spiritual master, can achieve all the mercy of the Lord and the spiritual master simultaneously.
Very important principle, very important principle. And this is a fundamental principle for our success in spiritual life. Devotee, shared the achievements of Kardamuni. Similarly, a disciple will also share the achievements of his spiritual master simply by serving. And let's see, we can read a little more as well. I'll read this out here. One word used in this verse, Nija Dharma Dohan, is very significant. Devahuti, as the wife of Kardamuni, achieved an invaluable gift from her husband because she was very faithful to him. For a woman, the first principle of religion is to be faithful to her husband. If fortunately the husband is a great personality, then the combination is perfect. And the lives of both wife and husband are at once fulfilled. Okay. Yeah. Upon hearing, her husband, Devoti was very satisfied and smiling with a smiling face. She spoke to, as follows. So important points in this section are that Devoti served her husband very nicely, although she was coming from a royal background. She gave all up and served menial service to rendered menial service to her devotee husband. As a result of that, she had access to the great mercy that had received by Kartamuni. So we'll go to the next section. Did we read only up to 9 actually? Yes. Okay. So from 10 to 48. So we need a couple of volunteers here. Couple of volunteers to read. Let's Arvind Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you very much. And can you kindly read from text 10 to 20, please?
Sure.
Okay, I will bring it up.
Text 10. Sri Devahuti said, "My dear husband, O best of Brahmanas, I know that you have achieved perfection and are the master of all the infallible mystic powers because you are under the protection of Yogamaya, the transcendental nature. But you once made a promise that our bodily union should now fulfill, since children are a great quality for a chaste woman who has a glorious husband." Text 11. Devahuti continued, "My dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures, so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. Also, my Lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose." Maitreya continued, "O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kadama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at his will. It was a wonderful structure, bedecked with all sorts of jewels, adorned with pillars of precious stones, and capable of yielding whatever one desired. It was equipped with every form of furniture and wealth, which tended to increase in the course of time. The castle was fully equipped with all necessary paraphernalia, and it was pleasing in all seasons. It was decorated all around with flags, festoons, and artistic work of variegated colors. It was further embellished with wreaths of charming flowers that attracted sweetly humming bees, with tapestries of linen, silk, and various other fabrics. The palace looked charming, with beds, couches, fans, and seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories. Its beauty was enhanced by artistic gravings here and there on the walls. The floor was of emerald with coral daisies. The palace was very beautiful, with its coral thresholds at the entrances and its doors bedecked with diamonds. Gold pinnacles crowned its domes of sapphire. With the choicest rubies set in its diamond walls, it appeared as though possessed of eyes. It was furnished with wonderful canopies and greatly valuable gates of gold. Here and there in that palace were multitudes of live swans and pigeons, as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so lifelike that the real swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry, which?
Yeah, go until 24, please.
Thank you. Can you just go down on 20?
Yeah, you've done it.
I've done that, sorry.
Yeah.
The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. When he saw Devahuti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kardama Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus he personally addressed his wife as follows: "My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovara, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane." The lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anil Singhu Prabhu, are you there? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
Would you like to read
Yes.
from text 25 to 48, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Her body was Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt, and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake, which contained the sacred waters of the Saraswati. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. Seeing her, the damsels suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maidservants. Tell us what we can do for you." The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new, spotless cloth to cover her body. They then decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called asavam. Then, in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland, dressed in unsullied robes, and decorated with auspicious marks of tilaka. She was served very respectfully by the maids. Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. About her hips, she wore a girdle of gold set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances. Her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses. When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardamamuni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power. The sage could see that Devahuti had washed herself clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She had regained her own original beauty as the daughter of a prince. Dressed in excellent robes, her charming breasts duly girded, she was waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy! His fondness for her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort, while served by the Gandharva girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over his self. In the aerial mansion, Kaddamamuni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in ponds at night. In that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the gods, Kuvera, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kaddamamuni, also surrounded by the beautiful damsels, and his wife went there and enjoyed for many, many years. Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru, but in different gardens known as Vaish, Vaishrama Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka, and Chaitraradya, and by the Manasa Sarovara lake. He traveled in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction, coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will. He surpassed even the demigods. What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kadamamuni returned to his own hermitage. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. In that aerial mansion, Devahuti, in the company of her handsome husband, situated on an excellent bed that increased sexual desires, could not realize how much time was passing. While the couple, who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure, were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers. 100 autumns passed like a brief span of time. The powerful Kadamamuni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded her as half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms, he impregnated Devhuti with 9 discharges of semen. Immediately afterward, on the same day, Devhuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and fragrant with the scent of the red lotus flower.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, when Kardama mentioned that, that he can pass the Bhagavad Prasada, the transcendental treasure that he had received through his devotion, pass it over to his dear wife for serving him very nicely. Then devotee said that my lord, I wish to have children. You said that we would be able to have some children. So it's better I have some children. And also this is the wish of the Lord. Through these children, the world will be populated. So that's why I want to have some children. But my Lord, for having children, there are 2 things required. One is we need a suitable place, suitable house, and also my body need to be fit for that union. Currently, I'm emaciated, very weak, very dirt. My body is completely covered with dirt, and my hair is like, I don't know when I last combed my hair. It's completely matted. So please, arrange for these 2 things. And then Kardama, immediately at his will, he created an aerial mansion. We have seen a beautiful description of this aerial mansion. It can just fly anywhere at the will, and it has got all the things in it. It's bedecked with various jewels, sofas are there, all lakes are there, flower gardens are there, beds are there, various rooms are there, and actually several stories, not just one level, but this aerial mansion had several stories. Prabhupada writes there 7 stories. So Kardamamuni himself got astonished with his yogic power. He could mystic power. He could create this mansion at a will. Huge palace, very, very opulent. So he created that. And then looking at that aerial mansion, devotee was wondering, okay, this mansion is there, but my body is not fit now. So she was thinking about like that. I'm very ugly. This is so opulent. And then understanding our desire, Kardama said that, oh lady, my dear wife, simply just take a bath in this Bindu Sarovara, where the Lord's drops of tear fell into this lake. So when Devhuti was thus advised by her husband, she went to take bath in that river. But as soon as she entered, she saw thousands of maids around her, and there was actually house within that lake she could see. And so they, like, they massaged her, cleaned her, and offered menial service to her, and dressed her very nicely. And that's how she regained her virginal beauty. So, and immediately after that, she thought of her husband. And when she thought of her husband, she immediately appeared on the spot next to Kardamamuni, her husband. And she also saw thousands of these maids next to her. And Kardamamuni, along with his wife Devhuti, and all the maids, so they jumped into this aerial mansion, and they just enjoyed. It is said that many years, it is said 100 years, 100 autumn seasons have passed. But of course, that was a different age. He performed austerity, he performed meditation for 10,000 years. After that, he saw the Lord Vishnu face to face. We have seen that in one of the previous chapters. So he went to different places, different valleys, and that's how that in that way he enjoyed with Devhuti for several years, and came back and expanded himself into 9 forms, and produced 9 daughters after uniting with Devhuti on the same day. 9 daughters. And so where we stop? Yeah, I wanted to read 1 or 2 verses. Yeah, on the same day. Yes, yeah. So here, just one thing, text 42, maybe we can read and discuss a little bit, like, So text 42, it says, what is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. So here, Kardamuni, basically, he was a saint, a mendicant, without having a opulent, without leading an opulent life. But however, with his mystic power, he could create that aerial mansion, and had that opulent life. And he also made his wife happy by doing that. Yeah, so after that, producing 9 daughters, he just wanted to leave immediately. That is the way Kardamuni walks. That okay, I've had household life for this long, and then I must go back to the forest and practice meditation and perfect my life and go back to Godhead. That is the way he was thinking. So let us read from 49 onwards, and 49 till the end of the chapter. Let's see who would like to read this. Who would like to read this? I have to pick someone, isn't it? Shankar Prabhu? Oh, yeah. Manjula Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Okay, text 49 till the end of the chapter.
When she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distressed. She stood and scratched the ground with her foot, which was radiant with the luster of her gem-like nails. Her head bent down, she spoke in slow yet charming accents, suppressing her tears. Shri Devahuti said, "My lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me, yet because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned," Prabhu, I can't read the next line, sorry. Yeah, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? Until now, we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Not knowing your transcendental situation, I have loved you while remaining attached to the objects of the senses. Nonetheless, let the affinity I have developed for you rid me of all the fear. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of a bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, when Kardama Muni was about to leave the house after having 9 daughters, Devahuti approached and said to him that, "My lord, please award me fearlessness." What happens is that daughters will get married and go to their their husbands' houses, and then I will be on my own. So, and also it is said, it is predicted that by the Lord, that the Lord himself will appear as son of Devahuti. And then she laments that I've not utilized your association for developing spiritual knowledge. And she says that although it appears that I've wasted my time, but however I've associated with you, you are such a great devotee. By associating with a great devotee, and knowingly or unknowingly, one will get the benefit. And all these days, I've enjoyed. We have enjoyed, but actually, she says that this is a very important point, that the activity, one's activity, should lead to religion, and the religion should lead to detachment, and the detachment should leads to devotion. This is so ultimately I have to develop the devotion. And so she's giving this example, in, let me find out that verse. Yeah, 56. Yeah, this is important verse. Yeah, anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, whose religious relation do not raise him to renunciation. So this is the very important one. Yeah, so work should leads to religious life, and the religious life should leads to renunciation, and the renunciation should lead him to devotional service unto the Supreme Godhead. Otherwise, he must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Very nice verse there. And there is a bit of purport there if you can go and read later on for 56. And so here, association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. So she associated with her husband, who is saintly and a great devotee, and she's indirectly saying that, yes, so this should leads to liberation eventually. So that's why we should always associate with the saintly people. And here she says, my Lord, surely I've been sorely cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation for the material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. But however, that is the will of the Lord, isn't it? This insurmountable energy. Yes, she had engaged and enjoyed and had children, but that is the arrangement of the Lord. But she's regretting that, even though I had such good association, but I did not use it properly. Let's read this purport. Padma Mataji, are you there? Amsini Mataji?
I'm here, Prabhuji.
Okay, you can read.
Sorry. Fine, you carry on, it's fine. Thank you. An intelligent man should utilize good opportunities. The first opportunity is a human form of life, and the second opportunity is to take birth in a suitable family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is rarely obtained. The greatest opportunity is to have the association of a saintly person. Devahuti was conscious that she was born as the daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated and cultured, and at last she got Kardama Muni, a saintly person and a great yogi, as her husband. Still, if she entanglement of material energy, then certainly she would be cheated by the insurmountable illusionary energy. Actually, the illusionary material energy is cheating everyone. People do not know what when in the form of goddess Kali or Durga for material boons. They ask, Mother, give me great riches, give me a good wife, give me fame, give me victory. But such
devotion.
That's all I can see, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'll move up. Yeah. Can you see now?
Not yet, sorry.
It might take a little bit of time.
Yes, I can see. But such devotees of the goddess Maya or Durga do not know that they are being cheated by that goddess. Material achievement is actually no achievement, because as soon as one is illusioned by the material gifts, he becomes more and more entangled, and there is no question of liberation. One should be intelligent enough to know how to utilize material assets for the purpose of spiritual realization. That is called Karma Yoga or Gnana Yoga. Whatever we have, we should use as service to the Supreme Person. It is advised in Bhagavad Gita, Shvakarmana tam abhyarcha. One should try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's assets. There are many forms of service to the Supreme Lord, and one can render service unto him according to the best of his ability.
Thank you very much, Mataji. I felt that that the purport is very instructive and very much applicable to all of us as practicing devotees. You can go and reread it again. So Devotee, felt sorry that she was influenced by this or cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Lord. So here Prabhupada mentions that human life is a rare opportunity. The first opportunity, the human form of the life, and the second opportunity is to take birth in a suitable family where the cultivation of spiritual knowledge takes place. So first is human birth, and second is coming in contact with the spirituality. These are two most important things. And so rather than, we are very, very lucky to have those two. We got this human form of life, and at the same time, somehow or other, we came in touch with the devotees of the Lord and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we better use this opportunity very nicely. Prabhupada once said, those who do not those who do not come to this movement are very unfortunate. Please hear it very nicely. So those who do not come to this movement are unfortunate. But those who come to this movement are fortunate. However, those who come to this movement and do not take full advantage of this movement are very unfortunate. Shall I read this? If one doesn't come to this movement, is unfortunate. One comes is fortunate, but one comes and do not take the full advantage of this movement is very, very, very unfortunate. We are here, but we have to take the full advantage of it. Prabhupada, otherwise Prabhupada says that you came to this movement, be serious, make full use of it. Full use of it in this lifetime. Don't think that no, I will do this maybe next life. Let me just do a little bit. Become a fair weather devotee. Do a little bit here and there. And maybe in the next life, I will do more. Maybe after 3 lives, I will do a little more. No, Prabhupada says that finish it in this lifetime and go back to Godhead. Prabhupada tells that he promises that if we follow the principles laid down by Prabhupada in this lifetime, we can go back, we can achieve perfection. So the bottom line is that we must take full advantage of our current situation, current position. So then Prabhupada will be very happy. I'll stop it there. So this is the interaction between Kardama and devotee. Their ideal. It's an ideal household life. So in an ideal household life, husband is more spiritually advanced, and the wife serves the husband. By serving the husband, she automatically get the results that her husband performed by practicing devotion. Automatically, by not doing it, there is no separate endeavor required. If the husband is spiritually advanced. However, if the wife is spiritually advanced, the husband can serve the wife as well. Not a problem. Hare Krishna. I'll stop there. It's just past 8 o'clock. If anybody has any comments, any realizations, any thoughts, do so. Otherwise, I will end the session here. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Babaji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'll end the session. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna.